What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick here. So in this video, it's gonna be the ultimate guide to land your dream job in sales. And I'm gonna show you exactly what recruiters are thinking so that you can say the right things and present yourself in the right way to get that job. To start things off, the reason I'm making this video is because recently I've been hiring a bunch of people for my company. I'm gonna walk you through the framework that I personally use when I look at every single candidate so that we're gonna reverse engineer how I hire people and show you exactly what you need to do if you are the person being interviewed. So we are gonna be doing a little whiteboarding here, and I actually originally got this idea from Simon Bowen from the Monetize Method. So I didn't invent this, just taking some inspiration from it and kind of explaining it to you guys here. So whenever you're doing any type of recruiting, there are basically two elements that every recruiter is looking at, right? So essentially we have a little boxes over here and there's gonna be 4 quadrants. The y-axis is going to be passion. So how much passion and ambition do you have to succeed in your job? The x-axis is going to be skill or competency. So how much skill do you have to actually perform the job? Ideally, the best place to be in this situation is over here. And I would call these A players. So an A player would be somebody who has a lot of passion and drive to succeed in their job, especially when it's in sales. Not only that, but they also have the skill to perform well on the job, meaning they know how to cold call, they know how to do discovery calls, they know how to close deals, prospecting, the whole shebang. So that would be considered an A player. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, on the bottom left, these are gonna be called prisoners. So a prisoner, I mean, it's just a word that Simon Bowen came up with, not me, essentially are people that lack the passion and they lack the skill. So of course, you're not gonna get hired. And if you did get hired, you're gonna get fired because you're in this position where you're not passionate about what you do and you're not good at your job, right? When you are applying for any type of job, you have to really take into account, where do you fall on this map? Are you an A player, someone that has the passion and skill to do the job? Some of you guys watching this, maybe you're not. Maybe you have the passion to be really good in sales, but maybe you don't have any sales experience. So maybe you will fall over here. And that's totally okay, because when you're recruiting for a job, especially if it's an entry-level job, the employer knows that, hey, this guy or girl may not have the experience we need, but I like his attitude, he's willing to work hard, and I believe we can train him to get to where we want him. So if you have the passion and you can convey that in a interview, what's gonna happen is this person's gonna map you out here and they're gonna say over time, maybe a couple months, they're gonna become an A player because we really believe that they have the ambition to develop those skills over time. Now, on the other side, let's say you have a lot of skill, but maybe you don't have passion. So maybe you're over here. This one's a little more difficult because it's like you're good at your job. Let's say you're in sales for many years, but you just don't really care about the company, you don't care about the product and things like that. In that situation, somebody might hire you just because of your skill set, but to be truly an A player, you have to figure out a reason for why you become excited about your job, whether it's for personal development reasons, maybe you believe in the mission of the company, or maybe you just like working with the people. Whatever the case is, you have to find a way for you to develop that passion for selling that specific product and service with your team and move yourself into an A player. So the goal of recruiting is really just to understand where you fall on this line and where you actually want to be. And you want to get as close as becoming an A player as possible. You may not have the passion, you may not have the skill to start things off, but you definitely need to start with one at least, because if you don't have the passion, you don't have the skill, most likely you're not going to go anywhere. So it's extremely critical that you get that part down. Now that we understand these graph and the fundamentals, let's talk about once you actually get the job and you land your dream job, right? What's really important is that you succeed in your job. So, if I teach you how to nail an interview, and I have many videos about this, doesn't mean you actually make a lot of money. You only make the money, you only become successful when you can perform on the job. And if you're not performing for whatever reason, you have to map out again, where do you fall under these categories and what do you need to do to upskill yourself or develop more passion to become an A player? So if you're over here, for example, right, and you have a lot of passion, maybe you don't have the skills, maybe it's your first job, you haven't done this before, what do you need to do to get to an A player? Well, you have to ask for help, ask your team members, ask your peers, find a mentor within the company that can train you to develop those skills. In my opinion, if you're like decently competent, you should be able to learn them on the job, and so that should be no problem. If you have the skill but don't have the passion, find a reason for why you should be passionate about your job, because to do that, really, you just have to dig deep in yourself and understand like what motivates you, and maybe get some inspiration from your coworkers to see why they do what they do and find a reason for yourself. Now let's talk about what it takes to become a leader at a company, right? So over time, when you work at a place for a couple months or a couple years, whatever the case is, you might become an A player, right? Whether that's developing skill or passion. Now, if you want to even further elevate yourself, right, and become more impactful at the organization you work with, it's all about helping other people also become A players, right? Because it's not enough to be just an individual contributor. You have to be somebody that inspires other people and motivates other people to become the best versions that they can be. So if you are currently an A player, you basically have to look at the other employees or other people that work at this company, and you say, okay, John over here is, passionate like I was when I first started out, but he doesn't have the skill. So how can I spend my time and volunteer to help this person become an A player? Or let's say somebody has a skill, but maybe they're not passionate. Maybe they don't understand the vision of the company. Maybe they don't understand like what impact they have. Well, what can you do to go over here and volunteer once again, not because anyone told you to do it, because you just naturally want to do it and you believe that's the right thing to do to strengthen the organization, and also because maybe you feel good about helping other people, right? If that's the case, what do you need to tell this person or help them understand so that they can become an A player? So at the end of the day, when it comes to whether you're an entrepreneur, an executive, an employee, even if you are, an entry-level person, like salesperson, your goal is to become an A player. So once you become an A player, it's all about helping other people also become A players, and then the organization just gets stronger and stronger over time, because that's where you really develop a culture where everybody truly tries to help each other. And like I said before, to truly be an A player and an A player who is a leader, you have to want to do these things without anybody having to tell you, meaning you're volunteering your time to help other people. When I, worked at Oracle 6 months into a job, when I started to learn all these prospecting skills, I started teaching my friends and my peers every single week, like 20 people at a time, on how to do LinkedIn prospecting. And that's how I got started when it comes to sales training, right? A couple people asked me and I helped them out. They got some results and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty fun. Let me go out and try to help as many people as I can. That just kind of made me feel good just to help other people. But at the same time, within Oracle, it's like very good when you're helping other people without other people having to ask you to do it. And then from there, it's just you snowball that momentum, you kind of win over the company politics, and then you rise up a lot faster than you would have if you didn't help anybody at all. So that's what it takes to get your dream job and become an A player at any company that you worked at. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. And if you want to take your sales game to the next level, check out my masterclass, Sales Legacy, where you're gonna learn everything you need to know in sales from A to Z. So with that said, my name is Patrick Deng, and I'll see you guys in the next one.